Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Clio Exchange Express, a conversation about the past, present, and future. A lively discussion between friends, family, pundits, personalities, and potentates, if necessary, in order to teach and learn something new. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the hour. Let's go to the show already in progress. Hi there, this is Lou Phillips. Welcome on board the Clio Exchange Express. We're just so delighted to have you on board again with us this week. And we're once again going to take a journey down a road that I think you're going to be thrilled about once we get started, because our journey is designed to educate, inform, and inspire. Now, in spite of the difficulties on our startup, and I can tell you that it certainly wasn't due to myself nor my co-host. And by the way, my co-host or co-conductor this evening is George Chandler, who's calling in all the way from London. George, are you there?
I am here, Phil. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, my brother, and I apologize to you for this good old American way of handling technology, but we're on board now. And I'm just delighted about that. And by the way, George, our third partner, who is Rudy Rollins out in Las Vegas, decided that he was going to take advantage of his, you remember his newfound freedom as an LVN and take off today. Is that all right?
That's okay. I mean, he deserves it.
Yeah. Well, as you know, we've got a wonderful guest that's going to be coming up here in the next 10 minutes or so. And you know who he is, and we're just real delighted and thrilled to have him on board with us. So tell me, how are things going on in London right now?
Well, things are going well in London. The weather has changed. We're having daytime temperatures of about 40 degrees. And I think that winter is here now, for sure.
Okay, well, that's quite all right, because we want to see all of the seasons, don't we?
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. Now, tell me this. Do you have a funny for me today that we can engage in laughter about?
Well, I have some questions I'd like to ask.
Oh, okay.
I'll start with... why did the banana go out with the prune?
Ooh, that's a scary one there. Why did the banana go out with the prune?
Because he couldn't find a date.
Wait, you know what that earned for you, George?
What's that? That's amazing.
A crowd laughter. How about that? Now, I have one for you, George.
Go on.
What do you call a computer that sings?
A computer that... I have no idea.
Adele. I think I earned one too, don't you think?
I think so. All right. Okay.
Well, listen, go right ahead.
You can tell it's going to be a good show tonight.
That's right. And one of the things that caused that is whenever you step into something that has been organized and prearranged, and your energy generally goes through the roof, and so you turn it into something very positive, don't we?
Absolutely. That's so true.
Yeah, and we can think about the days when we were both on stage and trying to perform. It happened to us quite often, didn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Certainly.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think we're getting the hang of telling these nice little funnies. At least we're earning crowd laughter, and that's something to be thankful about, isn't it?
It certainly is.
I see we got a caller that's called in, and we're still waiting for our guest to ring in. But in the meantime, let me just talk to our listening audience and let them know that they can participate in the discussion along with us. and we're going to ask them to get ready to call in at about 7:25, and you can do so by calling area code 646-716-7070, or you can call toll free at 855-414-6521. Again, you can join the conversation at 7:25 p.m. by calling 646-716-7070 or 855-414-6521. Okay, George, I tell you what, without any further delay, I think what I'll do is just begin to lay the foundation for our special guest. You think we should just kind of move forward on that?
I think we should. Because we really do have an interesting guest tonight, and I can't wait to ask him some questions.
Yeah. He's quite a guy, and I'm really anxious about hearing the full story about him. I've also am excited about who we're going to have back again next week. And so let me just play a quick promo for our guest next week, and then I'll roll right into an introduction for our special guest tonight. And by then he may have come into the line, and we can bring him right in, okay?
All right.
The next Clio Exchange Express life stop will be in the life of Eddie Thomas, the person who discovered and managed the legendary Impressions. So put it on your calendar today and tune in next Saturday and join us on another journey on blogtalkradio.com. Eddie Thomas, you remember having a great conversation with Eddie, did you?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that was a great discussion with Eddie. Now, our guest tonight, his voice can be heard on many hit songs, going all the way back to the 70s when he joined forces with two other singers and became the lead for that group. And the name of that group was Shalimar. You remember them, right?
Shalimar, yes, sir.
Indeed. In the mid-'80s, however, he moved on to become a solo artist and established himself as one of the best male voices to grace the airwaves. And I tell you, why don't we have a quick listen to what this young fella has just released, okay?
Every tear that he made you cry 1,000 times better guy. Let me say, from the outside looking in, time and time again, I see you in pain. Feel your love is giving peace. What's going on? I can't feel your love. Please, what you need, please, what you want, you can love.
Yeah.
Beautiful. What do you think of that voice, George?
That's one of my favorite voices. I think he has one of the most pop-sounding voices of his generation and in the history of R&B music, to say the truth.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's a real pleasure and a thrill for me for a lot of reasons, and most of which I was thinking about how I was going to have to soft shoe dance here for a while. But I want to bring to the mic a guy that I care a lot about and have admired. I've admired his singing and just his heart for an awful long time. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the mic my friend, Mr. Howard Hewett. Hello, Howard.
Hey, how you doing, man? What's up?
Oh, man, everything is well. I've got Joyce Chandler over in London on the line with us as well.
Hey, George, how you doing? I see you're talking to, Lewis also, he has another side job with me. He's my muscle. You know what I'm saying? He takes care of people who don't pay me my money.
Oh, goodness. Hey, Howard, we gotta get into that story. But before we get to that, brother, I just want to tell you, man, that I'm just really thrilled to have you take the time. I know you're in Chicago and getting ready for your performance this evening, but to just take the time to come and spend a few minutes with us, man, means an awful lot to me. And I'm going to jump right into it. I'm going to jump right into it because we had a bit of a fumble getting started tonight, and I know our listening audience are waiting to hear a bit more about you. Let me start off with taking you back to Akron. I know you grew up in a musically inclined and structured household, and I know that your mother was active in promoting other artists, and and your family formed a singing group. Isn't that right? Tell me about that.
Yeah, we had when I was 10 years old. My mom was, first of all, let me say, my mom was a professional gospel promoter in the Akron, Cleveland area back in Ohio. And so she would bring people in like, James Cleveland, Albertina Walker in the Caravans, the Soul Stirrers, Violinaires, Pilgrim Jubilee, Bill Martin, Celestials out of Detroit. I mean, and then goes down the line. And then when I was about 10 years old, she found out that me and my sisters could carry a note, so we formed a group called the Hewett Singers. And my sisters backed me up. They were known for their beautiful angelic harmonies and all that kind of stuff. And then I was this little kid with this high voice, and my mom literally kicked me out on stage the first time I went out on stage. And after I got out there, I was like, "Oh, this thing, dude, it's not bad at all, right?" So I was scared at first, but I was more scared of what she would do if I didn't get out there. So, and of course, nepotism was alive and well in our family. So, once we put the group together, we would open up every show that my mom would bring in, and then in the summertime, we would go out on the road, do the gospel tiddling circuit, up and down the East Coast, Midwest, and up through Canada, that side of Canada and stuff. And, it was a great foundation. And man, as you know, we talk a lot. I'm big on foundations. I think everything is about foundation. It's about what you put into it from the beginning and build it and strengthen it up from the beginning. And, like back home when they used to build houses and stuff, I was in my neighborhood. I used to watch them, and they would take forever building the foundation of a house. Once they get finished, they build the house. The house went up, just effortlessly. And so, I looked at that, and now it's like, you can, as long as you got a strong foundation, you can build and rebuild and tear it down and rebuild and tear it down, whatever you're trying to do. So,
Yeah. Well, I could preach on that,
Definitely. Definitely.
Now we've got I know George has got a question for you, and I just want to let you know, we've got a fellow calling in from Maryland, Julius, who's been on the line for about almost 8 minutes now. So, George, go ahead and ask your question, and then I'm going to roll Julius in, okay?
Okay. Howard, I'm going to begin by saying you and I met very briefly some years ago. I was one of the backing singers with Paul Young. And you went to the Paul Young concert, and you asked me to introduce you to Paul.
Paul Young,
do you remember that at all?
Yeah, he's the cat that sang
the Shy Life song.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember that. Okay.
Yeah. But the question I'd like to ask you is, who were your biggest influences when you were young?
George, it's like it was there were a lot of different things. I mean, you know, even when I was younger, we used to listen to my band and I back in after I left. So when I left, I started in the gospel situation when I was 10, like I said, but singing in the gospel thing until I was about 14, and then I went into the R&B situation, and I used to listen to, of course, Stevie Wonder, anybody that aspired to be a vocalist back then listened to Stevie, and listened to Donny Hathaway, and of course Marvin, the man was Marvin Gaye. You know, that was the thing. And but when I was about 15, 16 years old, I started looking at the whole situation of where, when you hear these guys, when you heard Marvin, you knew it was Marvin. When you heard Stevie, you knew it was Stevie. Donnie, the same thing. So what made these cats unique was the fact that they were and are unique, you know, in their vocal style and everything. So when I was about 15, 16 years old, I started saying, okay, well, what I want to do is I want to, build a situation where, or develop a situation, rather, better word, I guess, than build, but develop a situation where, somebody says, hey, I want to sound like Howard Hewett. You know what I'm saying? So, I started taking all those influences and rolling them up and start putting my passion and my feel to it, and I used to get into my mom's bathroom, the house where I grew up in, and back then all the bathroom, even now, bathroom has all this tile in it, so you have this natural, you have this natural reverb thing, so like I used to spend, we only had one bathroom, so my sisters would be knocking on the door, can you get out here and there? I would be in there trying to figure out how to go. I'd be in there trying to figure out how to go from that natural and go up into that soft, with little effort, the whole thing. So, but those are my influences and stuff.
That's beautiful.
But then at an early age, I started trying to figure something else out.
Yeah, that's great. Well, listen, let me bring Julius Broadway in and see what kind of question he's got. Hi, Julius. How are you? Thanks for calling in.
Oh, not a problem, Lou. How's everybody?
Everybody's fine. Good. Everybody, I'm great. How you doing, man?
Good. We met a long time ago. Well, not that long ago, but you did a benefit for a charity with an organization in a town that had been flooded.
Down
in North Carolina?
Yeah, Lou and I did that, actually.
Right, that's where we met.
Princeville.
Princeville in North Carolina, right? Yeah. You did we ended up doing a major fundraiser for them, and I think we raised I think the fundraiser was relatively successful.
Yeah, indeed.
Indeed. Yeah, but my question to you is, I've always loved the Shalimars and just method music, and more important than that, message music. My question to you is two parts. First of all, the first part of the question is, why did you guys break up? And the second part is, I know you remain very active, thank goodness, but are any other members of your group still performing?
Okay, the first part of that question, and believe me, that people ask me that all the time. In fact, I just got asked that question the other day. I kind of avoided it a little bit, but I'll say right now, there's very, because my whole thing was like, Jeffrey and Jody, even though we had our differences, and because you don't break up because you don't have differences, you know what I'm saying? But regardless, they were like my brother and my sister, part of my family. And a lot of times you don't talk about certain things as far as family is concerned. That was the attitude and the concept that I had as far as, during the time of breakup. But, so many people ask that question. And I like the way I answer it now basically is that it was a lot of things, but mainly it was, that old saying, youth is wasted on the young. You know what I'm saying? It was about being young, not really realizing what the type of situation that we had accomplished. You know, with the music that we had done. You know, being number one across the board and the whole thing, and arrogance. You know, and on all three of our parts. You know, and being full of ourselves, as our parents would say. And one of the other main things was we didn't have that leadership at the top. I mean, we were young. I mean, I was like 24, 25 years old or something like that. But we didn't have that leadership at the top. You know, that wasn't a part of the group. You know, somebody that could like look at us and come and say, "Look, y'all need to realize what you're doing here and what you know you've accomplished." And because we were as big as Shalimar was and still is, we were getting ready to take a whole nother step up on a whole nother plateau at the time, because we didn't break up because we couldn't sell any more records. We weren't selling any more records. In fact, we were at the high height of our career, and with the Look album that we had done, which had songs on there like "Dead Giveaway," "You're the One for Me," and stuff like that, we were getting ready to take a whole nother step on a whole nother plateau.
Hey, Howard.
Because,
let me just throw this in. You mean the management company, the record company, didn't play the part of the adult?
No, the head of the record company was, God rest his soul, and this is nothing that I didn't talk to him about even before he passed away. But the head of the record company was Dick Griffey, and and Dick tried to come in with this under the thumb type of tactic to keep us together, which was not going to work at that time. What we needed was somebody to come in and with some finesse and with some understanding, with some compassion, with some sympathy and whatever, or acknowledgement as far as what Jeffrey and Jody, especially Jeffrey and Jody, were going through. Because a lot of people don't know, Jeffrey and Jody were the ones that they split first. They left first.
Oh, okay.
And, and I had to. And at that time, I wanted to do my solo thing since they had gone, since they had split. And I said, well, I might as well just, I'll talk to Dick and the company and say, I want to do my solo thing now. And Dick was like, well, you still have 2.5 years left on this contract that we have. And unless you want to spend that 2.5 years in court, not doing anything, just sitting on the side, you can either do it. Like he said, you got 3 options. You can either spend the 2.5 years in court trying to get out of the contract. You can spend it just sitting on the side or whatever, or you can spend it or you can spend this 2.5 years doing another Shalimar, record and put it out, and at the end of the contract, you ride the contract out.
Right.
So like,
Howard. I listened to the earlier part of your conversation about your mother and your upbringing. I think you should have brought your mother in there.
Well,
sounds like she would have been perfect for the role.
She would have been real perfect for the role as far as that's concerned, but
that's great.
as far as putting that whole thing together.
Yeah, if I can just add something here.
Hey, let me thank Julius for calling in. Julius, thank you so much. We're gonna put you back on so you can keep listening, okay?
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Go ahead, George. I'm sorry.
The other comment I'd like to make is, having been in a group before, the thing about a group is sometimes the members of the group don't grow at the same rate. Because you start out, and then you're together for 3 years, and then all of a sudden you find out that you're not the same person that you were 3 years ago. You've grown, and different people grow at different rates. And I think that's all break for lots and lots of groups. I think the lifetime of a group is probably no more than 3 to 5 years.
Yeah. But it sounded like in the case of Shalimar, Howard, that everybody was really kind of growing together, and it just got to the place where it sounds like your individualities were starting to take over, and you wanted to sort of be your own person. But I wanted to go back, because we're going to bounce around this conversation. I can see it. I'm usually a linear thinker. I start out when you're young and kind of walk you through. but we're going to bounce around today. Now, going back to developing your style, techniques, and your ability to be a top-notch performer, how did the military help you out with that?
Well, I knew we were going to get into that conversation, because I always refer to my military career. And I use that term very loosely, Lou. I refer to it that I had a slight bout with insanity. Okay, and and so I remember to take everybody to let everybody know what we're talking about. When I was I was in school, I was in high school and stuff. I had a high school girlfriend, and we were totally in love and the whole thing. So, we were talking about being together and all that. And so my band that I was with my band back in Ohio, and we called it Life Band and Show. We did LYFE. We called it LYFE. And so we were making about $700 a weekend to split between 7 people. You know what I'm saying? So big money, $100 a weekend, right? So of course that wasn't something that would facilitate being together, So like I said, I told my girl, I said, well, I'm gonna join the service because the Air Force had this thing called Thompson Blue, right? Okay. And so Thompson Blue was this whole situation where the special services and your whole tech school consists of music classes and stuff like that. And right. then your whole tour, 4 years that you're in there, you're supposed to, you put together shows for the base and go from one base to the next. And, the goal was to try and get to overseas or something like that, right? And
you have to tighten the story up.
Okay, so so long story short, the recruiting officer in Ohio told me, "Oh, well, you can't get in Thompson Blue right now, but you can I can get you in right now under electronics, right?" Right. And so he said, "But go in and finish your basic training under electronics, and when you get to your tech school, then you just tell them you want to change your career field, right?" So, right. And I'm gullible, right? I go through halfway through basic training, I realized that I somebody just pulled my leg, to put it mildly, as far as that's concerned. So when I get to tech school, I said, well, I wanna change my career field. They start laughing. They said, well, what did they tell you? They said, well, I told them what the cat said, right? And they said, well, I'm sorry, unless you got something in writing, you're in here for 4 years under electronics. Well, to take the story even shorter, and without saying to find out the particular details, you have to read the book that I write, eventually. But to say, I stayed in my military career consisted of 10 months, 11 days, and 4 hours. Okay, so and I got out honorable discharge, full benefits, everything. Because I wasn't a screw up, but I was able to, praise the Lord, thank God, get out of there, and to say how that helped my singing career and my career so far. The way it helped my career so far, Lou, is to don't get sidetracked by craziness. When you're on a path, when you got a specific path that you're trying to facilitate. So, hey,
that's great. That's a great story. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this stop on the Underground Railroad. Aboard! Clio Exchange Express and the Underground Railroad tour is leaving the station. Next up, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Bethel AME Church. The Bethel African Episcopal Church has played an important role in the city's black community for over 160 years. Originally founded in 1836 by William Paul Quinn and Augustus Turner, the church was then known as Indianapolis Station. The church's promotion of the abolitionist movement and their activities in the Underground Railroad were not well received by some members of the community. Supporters of slavery are believed to be the cause of a fire that destroyed the church in 1862. Undaunted, the congregation raised money to rebuild the church in 1867, and it was known as the Mother Church of the AME faith in Indiana, and it also played a role in the community after the Civil War. Bethel AME has been a vanguard in the advancement of the AME movement, and it occupies an important place in the history of the Underground Railroad. Bethel AME Church is located in Indianapolis, Indiana, at 414 West Vermont Street, and it's open to the public daily. Okay, Howard, well, that was a great journey back to your Air Force days, and I know the part that the listening audience is going to enjoy when you finally put out that book that I'll co-author with you, is the conversation you had with the drill sergeant, which was incredible. But listen, let me ask you this, Howard. Back in the day when you were coming along and beginning to really rise before and after Shalimar, how did you dodge the tentacles of Motown? It seemed like you would have been a perfect artist for them.
You know, it's funny that you say that because I just did a thing. Every year they do Iris Gordy and her daughter Carla. Iris was, her dad was Fuller Gordy, and every year they do this bowling thing, bowling party, and to raise, funds to do different things and stuff in the community and different things that would be, and deal with it then. And I just went there and I was talking to Barry Gordy. This is just like this past Wednesday actually. And but Motown, I did do some stuff for Motown back in the day, right before I got with Shalimar. Actually, I was in the Motown building when I got the offer to join Shalimar. And I was working with this guy, Jeffrey Bowen. And Jeffrey Bowen produced stuff on the Commodore, Temptations. He had produced. He was Bonnie Pointer's producer and stuff. And he was doing this project on Eddie Hazel. He used to be a guitar player for Parliament Funkadelic. And they were doing this self-contained thing, because Eddie didn't sing. And so they had, singers out, basically they had two girls and myself, that were gonna be the vocals for the group.
Okay.
And so we put I went and did this background session for him, and then he approached me about being a part of the project, a permanent part of the project and stuff. And he said, well, we won't do contract. We'll work on the contract, but right now I'll get you into AFTRA, which is the singers union, basically what they call it sometime, and we'll start working, and like we did that. And then after about, I worked with them about a couple months or 2 or 3 months and stuff, and then they started giving me what we used to call back in the day the Motown runaround. The text didn't really reflect what what the work that you had put in, and it had nothing to do with Motown. It had everything to do with the people that were putting the contract together, as far as the session contractors, as they say. And so, I'm sitting in. I called a meeting and wanted to talk to Jeff Bowen and his co-producer, who was Andrew Cat. And I called the meeting and to go talk to him about this Motown runaround thing. And this was on a Friday. So I'm sitting on the 15th floor of the Motown building. And in one of the offices up there, and I'm getting everything off my chest, blah 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 blah, and then the phone rings, and it's and the cat answers, Angelo Bond answers the phone. He looks at me and says, "Well, it's for you." And I said, well, if it's not telling her, if it's my lady, because she's the only one that knew who I was. I said, if it's my lady, tell her I'll call her back after the meeting. He said, well, it's not a lady. He said, it's not a lady, it's a guy, and it sounds like it's long distance. That was back before cell phones, and you could tell when something was long distance when you heard it on the phone because all the static and everything. And so, I get on the phone, and it's Jeffrey Daniels from Shalimar. And I had met Jeffrey and Jody, actually, before Shalimar even existed in my days with this group that I was with before, show groups that I spent about a year or so overseas with. And Mavericks was a place where a lot of people would go and watch groups and dance and the whole thing. So, that's when I first met Jeffrey and Jody there.
This is in L.A., right?
Yeah, Los Angeles, yeah.
Okay.
And so, at that time, they had that song, Take That to the Bank out. And they got into a little, a disagreement or whatever with the lead singer at the time, this cat, Gerald Brown, out of Cincinnati, and he's the one that sang Take That to the Bank. And so Gerald tells him, well, when y'all see it my way, give me a call, right? And leaves him out on the road. In the middle of this promotional tour. So, they didn't call him back, but they tracked me down. And he made me an offer to join the group and as lead singer, equal situation with the group as lead singer. And he said, where are you right now? He said, I know you're in the Motown building, but where are you in the Motown? I said, well, I'm up on the 15th floor. And he said, well, Dick Griffey, Solar Records was the record company that we were with. So Solar's office is down on the 9th floor in this same building that I was in. The Motown had 17, 16, and 15, the top 3 floors of this building. And the rest was random offices and stuff. And so I got off the phone, right? I told Jeffrey Bowen and Angelo Brown what the deal was. And I remember Angelo saying, man, Shalimar is nothing but a fly-by-night disco. They're not going to amount to anything. And they started talking, and Jeffrey's talking, and I listened to them and stuff. And when they got done, I said, well, I'm parked on the street. I got to go put some money in the meter.
No, you didn't.
So I leave the office, man, and I go downstairs to the 9th floor, get in, talk to Dick. He reiterates what Jeffrey said, and the offer and all that. And I said, well, let me give these people Motown a chance to rectify themselves, because I had been working with them for about 3 months, and we had done some great work. It was great. Creatively, we had done some great work.
Okay.
But I wasn't signed to them. We hadn't done contracts or anything yet, so I wasn't signed to them. Fortunately, I wasn't signed to them, but I said, let me give them a chance to rectify themselves, and I'll get back with you in the morning. And so I called them. I called Jeffrey Bowen, the people at Motown, and said, look, I'll be home all night. If you want to call and rectify this, I'll be home all night. Nobody called, right? So the next morning, which was Saturday, I called Dick Griffey. I go over to his house, watch the videotape of a Shalimar show, and then I'm sitting in this rocking chair, and Dick says, well, sing something. Jeffrey and Jody say you're a great singer, sing something. And I said, just sing something, acapella, just, he said, yeah, sing something. So I said to myself, I said, well, Lord, me and you, right? And I started in the Field of Fire by P.O. Bryson, right?
Okay.
And got through the first verse, half the hook, and Dick says, okay. He goes upstairs.
That's enough.
And he says, goes upstairs, he comes back down, he has goes in one pocket, he brings out like $500, right? He says, here's some money, leave with your old lady, pay some bills, whatever, And then he goes in another pocket, he says, he brings out an airline ticket. And this is back in the day when, I could ride on Kathleen's tickets, Lou.
Didn't have your name on it.
you didn't have to have a specific name on the tickets back then, right? So
Right.
so he said here's the airline ticket. Said you got to catch the red eye out tonight, you know. And he said because you got to meet the group in New Jersey, and rehearse the lip sync to take that to the bank. You got to rehearse the lip sync and the choreography. So I did the Milli Vanilli thing long before Milli Vanilli even existed.
and you did it good.
Because the next day, that Monday, you know, because I got off on Friday, I did a little lightweight audition, I guess, on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday night, I'm on the red eye to New Jersey because they had gone from New York to New Jersey, and I met them that morning, Sunday morning. We rehearsed all day Sunday. Then Monday, we had to tape a TV show, a little dance TV show in Patterson, New Jersey. So that's how the whole thing went down. And
well, that's beautiful.
You know,
It sounds like it worked out pretty good for you, considering where you are today, huh? Now.
I just think the rest is history.
All right. Well, listen, we got several more questions for you. You tell a great story, but I want to get George. George, you got a question for him?
Yes, I have. You know, and you spent about 3 years with Shalimar? Is that correct?
Yeah, from I think it's like the end of '79 or sometime in '79 until actually I left in '85, so it was about 5 years.
About 5 years.
Okay.
You sung a lot of songs, and let me ask you this: of the songs that you recorded with Shalimar, what would be your top 3?
Top 3 would be For the Lover in You, A Night to Remember, and there's a song, like I said, it was never a single, but it was so well done. It was like crazy. It was on the lookout called You're the One for Me. That was one of my favorite songs, yeah.
Now, that's fantastic. One song you left out, which is a fantastic song I always thought, was I Can Make You Feel Good.
Oh, yeah, I Can Make You Feel Good. I wrote that with this guy, oh, man, what is his name? It's so long ago.
Yeah. Remember you said that.
So I think that's the most underrated
song. Yeah. But no, we wrote that. That was an amazing song. And you're over in England, right, George?
That's right.
Yeah, so that song was huge over in England.
You know what I say now? I say most people talk about love ballads, slow songs to make love to.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you, you can really make good love to I Can Make You Feel Good. And it's a fact.
Oh, yeah, man. I Can Make You Feel Good. We'll be over there. We'll be
all right, guys.
over there, actually.
This is a family-oriented show now.
Well, that's how they got here. You know what I'm saying? But I'll be over there. I'll be over there in England. Me, Jeffrey, and we bring Carolyn Griffey with us when we come over. We'll be over there. We're going to do Manchester on the 5th, and I think the Indigo Club over at the O2 Arena. We'll do that on the 6th over in London.
On the 6th of what? On the 6th
of December. The 5th of December will be in Manchester, and the 6th of December will be there in London. And we've done that venue about 4, 5, 6 years in a row. And we have an amazing time all the time. And when I Can Make You Feel Good, when we break into that, it's crazy, man. It's really.
It's a great song. It's a great song.
It's a great song. Thank you.
Great song. Yeah. And you can put it anywhere on the show. You know, you can have the third song, you can have it the last song, you can have it in between. It just makes the audience feel good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I Can Make You Feel Good. Yeah.
Speaking of writing, Howard, talk to me about the thing that inspired you to in the writing of Say Amen?
Say Amen was basically, and I'm telling you, through the years, I've heard so many stories of people have come to think that that's how Say Amen came about. Like this one lady said, I heard that you had lost your voice, and then all of a sudden, it came back, and you were thanking God for bringing your voice back. Well, that's not what the case was. It was basically, and just simply a promise that I made to the Lord, before about a couple of years before I left, before I did my first solo album. So I remember praying. I said, Lord, when I'm by myself, when I'm responsible for what I say, and not saying that the other two members didn't believe, that's not the case, but that was such a personal thing to express, And I said, when I'm by myself, I said, I promise that I will honor you on every album, every solo album I do. So I remember when I finally left Shalimar and I was going to had to have a meeting with the record company and my new management company. The new record company I was with, I went from Solar to Elektra. And I had to have a meeting with everybody so we could talk about the direction of the first solo album. So I went to the meeting and I shook everybody's hand and I sat down. I was really excited. It was my first solo project. I shook everybody's hand and then I sat down and I said, well, first off, before we get really into this whole thing, I said, let me say that I want to do a song to the Lord on this album. And this is like in '85, right?
Okay, everybody's eyebrows went up, huh?
Oh, man, you could hear a pin drop in that one. And then finally, this one guy starts talking, right? He says, well, we're looking to take your career in the sex symbol direction and blah, blah, blah. It might not be conducive to, religious overtones. And then this other guy starts talking. And then my management, because I hadn't even talked to my new managers about it, right?
Okay.
And they started talking and stuff. And I sat there and I listened. And I can understand, and I told them when they got things started, I said, look, I hear you and I understand you because, nobody back then had ever done that. Denise Williams, she would do a gospel album.
Right.
Do an R&B album. And, but I was talking about combining it. I was talking about doing a gospel inspirational song on an R&B album.
Right.
And so I said, I hear you, and I said, and I understand you. I said, I understand where you're coming from. I said, but maybe I just approached this the wrong way. I said, let me reapproach this, and let me say that I'm going to do a song to the Lord on this album because my promise to him is way more. It means way more to me than where your concept of which direction my career is going to go in. I said because without him, without him there would be no career. To go in any direction. So it just let me, I'll say that. Now we can get into everything else. So we got into everything else. And then Monty Stewart and I got together. Monty was this young writer who I've been hearing about and producer and stuff I've been hearing a lot about. So we finally met and then we set up time to write and we set up 3 days to write. We ended up getting together for those 3 days and not writing anything, right? And then we didn't get back together until like about 6 or 7 months or so. And the first thing that we wrote was the track and the music for Say Amen. And so I took the track, it was just the music and everything. I took the track and I was going to figure out what I was going to write about. We knew that we wanted that to be the inspirational song for the album.
Okay.
So I said, I would write some stuff and ball it up and throw it away and all of that. That's going. And finally, I prayed. I said, Lord, this is your song. So when you're ready to give me the lyrics to your song, you give me the lyrics to your song.
Mm-hmm.
And then I jump on a plane. I jump on a red eye one night. I was going to Miami to spend Thanksgiving with some friends there, and I jump on a red eye, and plane takes off. I put my headphones on. I have a cassette. That's how long ago it was. I have a cassette of a bunch of songs I had to write lyrics to, and at the end of that cassette was a real rough version of Say Amen, the track that we had put together while we were writing it with just keyboards, a little overlay as far as voicing on the synthesizer was concerned. And it only played the first verse and then half the hook, and then it would cut out. So when that thing started playing, all of a sudden I started getting time to say goodbye for now. We'll have our second time around. Start thinking about second time around, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. We'll have our second time around, but before we go, there's something I got to say. So it started flowing. And then when I got to the second verse, maybe some who don't believe it, sometimes it's very hard to see we live in one life every day. Some things don't go the way. And I started thinking about what my mom used to tell me. My mom used to tell me, she said, when you're surrounded on all sides, the only place to look is up.
You got to drive it home.
And then she also used to say, boy, you're the king's kid. You are the king's kid. You're a child of God. So there's cattle on 1,000 hills there. They're yours. And that's when I wrote the cattle on 1,000 hills are all yours, claimed in the holy name. So long story short, by the time I touched down in Miami Airport, man, the song was done. Done.
That's beautiful. And I hated to rush you to that, but we're coming up on a major break here for the show, and I just really wanted to thank you, man. I'm going to have to bring you back again, obviously, because there's just too much to learn about who you are and all of the wonderful things that you do. And
thank you.
And I don't want to shortchange anyone by cutting it off. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'd love to come back.
Would you? Okay, that's beautiful. And so part of my job right now is to thank you on behalf of everyone for taking the time to come and be a part of this. And let's look at sometime during Black History Month to bring you back. Okay.
That'd be great. That'd be really great. I want, and also if people want to get in touch, they can. I have my Facebook.com/Howard Hewett fan page. I have the fan page. There's a personal Facebook page on there too, Howard Hewett Facebook page. The place to really get all the information is a lady out of Dayton, Ohio, Keisha Johnson, that keeps it up really well, keeps it well informed. But the place to get all the information is the Facebook Howard Hewitt fan page. And that's Howard, where, you can...
Howard Hewitt?
Yep. Hewett, not ITT. They've been trying to get me spelled ITT since kindergarten, but I'm holding out. HEWETT. Yeah. So the Howard Hewitt fan page. So go there and connect with me. That'd be good.
Beautiful. Well, brother, we love you dearly, and again, I just thank you so much for being on board with us. And this has certainly been a wonderful stop in your life, and I want to let you know, as we always end our conversations, I continue to pray for you and ask God to continue to bless and keep you in the hollow of His hands, and to continue to shower blessings upon you and your life, my brother.
Thank you very much. Same to you, guys. I love you, man.
All right, Howard. All right.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. You take care, Howard.
All right.
God bless you, brother.
God bless you. All right.
Hey, Georgie.
Yes, indeed.
What do you think about that ride on the Clio Exchange Express, brother?
I have really, really enjoyed it. I have really enjoyed it. Howard has, I'm glad you asked him to come back again because he has a lot to say.
Yeah.
He has a lot of stories to tell.
A lot of wonderful stories. And he's so open and down to earth about it, isn't he?
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. And I think that that's the type of thing that you can't put on. You know what I mean?
Cannot do it. You certainly cannot. Now, do you have, as we begin to shut down here, do you have another funny that, in the form of a question, I'm sure, that you want to propose to our listening audience?
Yes. Well, I understand that last week they didn't get my last funny.
Okay.
So I guess I should repeat it. And the question is, why did the jelly wobble?
Shaky bowl.
Because it saw the milk shake.
Okay, the conductor is telling us it's time to move on. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Let us know by sending an email to info@clioexchange-express.com. That's info@clioexchange-express.com. Until next time, we wish you peace of mind, love from the heart, and happiness you cannot explain.